Everyone wants to make fun of a girl with daddy issues, but why aren't we making fun of the dads who give the girls the daddy issues? I literally say we band together and start to make fun of the dads who gave their daughters daddy issues and reward the girls for surviving traumatic fathers.
Your wardrobe screams fatherless.
You have more trust in that top Zyphon people.
How was your relationship with your father? Just saying, why did you get the attention you wanted?
You need Jesus.
That's offensive. Checking. 6969. Checking. All right, we're all good here. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to That's Offensive, capital OF, if you catch my drift. It is Daddy Deelz in the building, or what is a Deelz or whatever. I have a lot of alter egos. I want to start off this episode by sharing offensive opinions that no one asked for, because the podcast is called That's Offensive. So, gotta throw in some offensive things in there. Flan cackers, if you clack your fan at a concert or a festival, you get the boot. You should be kicked out. You're ruining the musical experience for everyone but yourself because you want to clack your fucking fan. Just, you're out of here. If it was up to me, security would kick you out. 90% of white people, I think, need to start getting spray tans. Come on now. This might be a little offensive because I am also very pasty white, but let's get some color up in there. You gotta spice it up a little. Men are going to get mad at this one, but I think if your teeny weeny is under 5 inches, you need to invest in dick injections, because here's the thing. No one wants a teeny weeny they can't feel right and all up in their vag, or, if you're gay, up in their asshole. No one wants that. Got it. 5 inches. 5 inches. If girls have to get their tits done or their lips done, or I even have friends who've had their clits done, you can get injections in your penis. All right? All right. So I thought this episode would be a perfect intro back to That's Offensive. I'm so excited to be back. I love my solo episodes, and I know you guys do too, or you love to hate on my solo episodes, but either way, hate, love, it's all views, so I don't really care. For my offenders, welcome back. For everyone new coming in, let me just kind of introduce myself again. Thank you for coming to my podcast. Coming probably in both ways. I don't know, maybe not. I know a lot of people do jack off to my podcast, so thank you for that. Give me a tip for allowing you to jack off. I have many alter egos. So I have Daddy Deelz, What is a Deelz, Father Deelz, just Adelia in my last name, Acker. I've had a lot of alter egos, and I would have a lot less if Instagram didn't delete me so often and TikTok didn't delete me so often. So social media needs to get their shit together, because I think that they're prejudiced against OnlyFans girls or sex workers, or they just don't give a shit about anyone who uses their platform that doesn't give them a large sum of money. So for that, fuck you guys, but also love you. Thanks for letting me post on there. I came up with the name Deelz. No one ever called me that before Instagram, because I was like, how do I like evade my parents, or I don't even think that's the right word, but how do I stop them from finding out about my Instagram? Because my name is Adelia, and if you Google Adelia, I'm one of the few people that shows up. Adelia is a pretty unique name, so I'm like, Deelz. Deelz is the answer. And it didn't really work because they found my OnlyFans anyways. Oopsie. But it was a good try. It was a good shot. I guess I'm a little bit wild. I like drugs and I like to rave, specifically dubstep. If you're fucking me, I will make you listen to dubstep 140 to 150 BPM, because it gets the rhythm going. None of that sensual slow shit. I am not going to be slowly retting your dick. I want you to pound me like a bunny rabbit at 140 BPM. Anyways, I love my dubstep. As far as drugs, my hat actually says, please be nice to me, I'm on acid. But it's been like a year since I've done acid, and I'm pretty sure it was fake acid anyways. So haven't done acid in about a year. I am a big shroom head. I've also taken ecstasy a few times this year, but I used to be a lot more into drugs back then than I am now. But mushrooms, I'll take those any day, baby. I'm I'm not too big of a fan of alcohol anymore. I feel like if you've been on my podcast or if you've listened to my podcast before, you guys already know this shit. But for everyone new here, I gave up drinking in the past like year and a half. For the most part, I drank like a few weekends a year, but I used to be a full-blown alcoholic. I went to the University of Arizona, or University of Alcoholics, drinking, I don't know, I could drink a whole fifth of tequila a weekend, sometimes a handle of tequila a weekend. Oh, wait, no, the fifth of tequila would last me like a day. Yeah, I could drink a handle in a weekend, which was absolutely fucking crazy. It was to the point that when I graduated from college, I had withdrawals from alcohol. And I don't even consider myself an alcoholic because, like, I could drink, I could not drink. I really don't care. But when I do drink, I go way harder than I probably should. Another fun fact, I had mold poisoning. I've had mold poisoning for 6 years, and I got it from my townhouse from when I was in college, and I just got diagnosed this January, and I was on pills for a few months, so I know a lot of people always want to say, you look like shit. Here's the thing, I could have died. Have you thought about that? I had a life-threatening illness, so for everyone saying I look like shit, whatever, it, like, doesn't bother me, but it does. But like, I also know I was really sick, so please just call me pretty. I also have an OnlyFans for everyone new, hence, you know, though that's offensive, capital OF. And I came up with the word offensive because everyone seems to get offended by OnlyFans. I swear, like, my whole comment section on, like, TikTok or Instagram is like, oh my God, you must have daddy issues or fatherless or you have no job or you're so desperate for attention. But, like, what's wrong with liking attention? Everyone seems like it's such a bad thing. But, like, us as a society, we thrive on attention. Even my dog thrives on attention. So just to be like, oh my God, I'm making fun of you because you like attention. Don't we all? Are you not commenting on my post because you want people to like it and therefore to get attention? It's just a different kind of attention. I just like the attention for being a slut. Which brings me to my next point. I'm an internet whore who's really prudish in real life. I've always kind of been an internet whore. I love having my tits and ass out, although social media is kind of banning that nowadays, which fucking sucks. Which is like, I was watching Jersey Shore when I was like in high school. I watched people fuck on TV. Why is the censorship the thing now? It's bullshit. But anyways, it's been over a year since I've had sex. I have been celibate for a very long time, since last October. And here's the thing, I'll keep you guys updated when that changes. So like, I miss the dicks, but I don't miss the people attached to the dicks, if you catch my drift. Men fucking suck. So I'd much rather be fucked with a dildo by a girl who has a better personality than some like average Joe over there. And when I've met people with penises in the past year-ish, no one has made my panties wet. So like, why force something that, you know, I might be attracted to them, but their personality suck. The last guy I fucked, who I'm like, his personality sucks, but, you know, I was like attracted to him. I got the ick so bad I wanted a yak afterwards. And then that's just a body added to your roster. And I wanted to throw up. So let's not do that. Let's just be celibate until I meet a guy I actually vibe with. 25 is like this weird age. Actually, 24 was kind of like this too. Honestly, a lot of my years were like this, but 25 most of all, where like I can acknowledge someone as hot. I can acknowledge that a guy is hot as fuck. But like, if we're not vibing on a deeper level, it's just, I'm not attracted to him. I can like tell him he's hot, but no, I'm not going to fuck him. That's like not enough to get me to fuck a guy anymore. And this is going to be the point of the episode, but most people see I have an OnlyFans and assume I have daddy issues. And let's not make a generalization about all girls in the industry, because a lot of girls in the industry actually have great relationships with their fathers. But me personally, yes, I 1,000,000% have daddy issues. You guys are right on the bullseye with me. So let's touch on the daddy issues to get it out early on, because everyone wants to make fun of a girl with daddy issues. But why aren't we making fun of the dads who give the girls the daddy issues? I literally say we band together and start to make fun of the dads who gave their daughters daddy issues and reward the girls for surviving traumatic fathers. Like, why are we shaming the girls and not the dads? Like, that has never made sense to me. And am I saying make fun of my dad? No, because I don't super like condone bullying, but also like not super mad if you guys do. He's like not a great person. So let's touch on me and my dad's relationship. This is gonna be fun. I've cried a lot about this, so this will be a fun little laugh at my trauma episode. But most of y'all are probably thinking that, of course you and your dad don't have a good relationship. You have an OnlyFans, and no father wants his kid to have an OnlyFans. So let's ask ourselves why. Is it because of a religion that I do not believe in? Why would I follow a religion that says sex work is bad or don't have sex if I literally don't believe in it? And if it's because my parents are like, well, we don't want you to go to hell. I'd rather go to hell and have sex than go to heaven and be abstinent until marriage. Are you kidding me? Is it because society believes sex work is wrong? Well, society has believed a lot of things are right that have clearly been wrong, like slavery, like women not being able to vote. So why are we believing society's view on sex work when we obviously haven't been correct in the past? I think that societal standards are clearly always changing, and for someone to think sex work is bad, I personally think that they lack emotional intelligence and critical thinking skills. Just my personal opinion, because sex work has been around since the beginning of time. And if Jesus can be nice to sex workers as he was in the Bible, so for you Christians out there, Jesus was nice to sex workers, then so can you. Point, case closed. The next argument, is it because parents do not want to see their daughter sexually? Well, that's pretty easy. So don't look her up on Instagram, don't look up her OnlyFans, and don't look up her porn. To me, it just seems like really simple to not look at your daughter sexually. Don't look at her porn. Just don't look at her Instagram. And it's just so easy to not subscribe to your kid or to not Google them looking for things. And it's funny that I mentioned that because my dad, after being told that I have an OnlyFans and that I do porn, he went to Reddit and like looked up my nudes. I mean, he just Googled like Daddy Deelz. I think he typed in like Daddy Deelz nudes or something and like went to Reddit. And he sent me a screenshot of my nudes and was like, this is how you're empowering women? Fucking whore. And in my head, so he's trying to shame me for having my nudes on the internet. But in my head, I'm like, my dad was told that I do porn and then went to go look up the porn, screenshotted his daughter naked just to send it to her to be like, you're a fucking whore. I don't know. It seems a little backwards to me. It seemed like he was trying to sexualize me when our relationship could have just stayed the way it is. Like, that is just such a fucking weirdo move to me. Because if you really think about it, and this is my opinion, a father who comments on his daughter's short shorts or her butt being out, or her bikini being too small, or her boobs being out in her shirt, or even just like having big boobs in general. If a father is making any of those comments to his daughter, he is sexualizing her. Let's take a moment because this is true. He is sexualizing his kid. And a lot of fathers use the argument, I know what boys think, so this is why you need to change. All right, so you're still thinking about your daughter sexually. You're putting yourself in another man's position to then look at your daughter sexually and sexualizing her to try to change her outfit. So either way, you're sexualizing your daughter, and that kind of behavior needs to stop. Like, you should not be telling your daughter that she needs to change or she needs to stop acting like a whore, because if you're doing any of those things, you're looking at her sexually, which a father should not be doing to his daughter. Case in point, I have a dog. Her name is Wubs. In my mind, I birthed her. She came out of my vagina and she is my child. I breastfed her and everything. Not really. She's never sucked my boobs, but this is just an example. Okay, guys? Wubs is always naked because she is a dog. And she asked me for belly rubs a lot, where her cooter is staring right at me. She licks food off of my fingers. Now, after she licks food off of my fingers, do I think, wow, that tongue on her, she must be such a slut. I wonder whose other fingers she is licking to get that good at licking. No, what the fuck? That is so fucking weird because I don't look at my dog in a sexual way to think she needs to hide her cooter. I'm not going to rub her belly because her cooter's looking at me. No, because I'm not sexualizing my dog. And you might be thinking, well, it's different for a daughter and a dog because, you know, everyone is looking at your daughter in a certain way. Well, I know that there's bestiality out there. Do I not post my cute little dog on the internet where her belly is showing or she's licking my fingers or something like that because I'm scared of the people with bestiality fetishes who want to fuck my dog? No, because I do not think of my dog sexually. So, case in point, it's really weird. And maybe if I ever had a kid, which I don't want kids, no, I don't even think it would change my mind because I'd be like, yes, girl, you look so good in that short shorts. Oh my God, my friends are never going to let me babysit, but it's fine. I personally find it really weird to choose to have a kid and then ask your kid not to do something that makes them happy because of your own problems or issues with your own sexuality or sexuality in general. You know, my dad is really religious, so I know a lot of people who grew up religious have repressed sexuality and look at sexuality as a bad thing, but it really isn't. And we need to change society's perception on that because sexuality and wanting to have sex and fucking yourself, masturbating, whatever, none of that's bad. It's just getting more and more in tune with yourself. So let's actually consider, because a lot of people have the argument as well that sex work is wrong. So let's really consider what makes sex work wrong. Is it the exploitation of sex workers? That is just such an outdated argument that doesn't really happen in the industry anymore. Now, if this was 20 years ago, yeah, I think that there would still be a lot more exploitation of sex workers where, you know, women wouldn't be able to set their boundaries. But now there's literally intimacy coaches on set and people are always asking how you're doing, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I think where sex work is very exploitative is where sex work is either not legal or it's looked down upon because sex work becomes really dangerous in areas where women feel like they have to hide the fact that they're even doing sex work because then they're not coming forward about their exploitative experiences because people look down at them being like, well, you're a sex worker anyway. Who cares if you got SA'd? Who cares if this happened? Now, if sex work is more normalized and we take people seriously, they're not going to be exploited. If I worked in corporate America, I had a normal job before OnlyFans, and I felt like I was way more exploited in my normal job than I ever have been in sex work. I personally haven't felt I haven't felt exploited in sex work, and you know, there's always going to be some differing opinions here and there, but overall, sex work is not that exploitative as OnlyFans lets women own their own content, be their own boss. You know, these are some boss ass bitches in here. So I just feel like that argument is a little outdated. And for the feminists who still use the argument that sex work is bad and exploits women, I think that those feminists are fake feminists who still have repressed sexuality or something like that. And yes, I said what I said. Here's another argument against sex work. Is it because you think that sex on camera is wrong? Well then, don't do it and don't watch it. It is so easy not to watch porn. I have never in my lifetime accidentally clicked on porn and been like, oh wow, these people, they should not be having sex. That is so unchristian of them. I have never done that in my life. If I'm looking at porn, it's because I am having my cooter out, ready to vibrate, and it's very intentional. It's very hard to accidentally look up porn. So if you have a problem with sex or having sex on camera, just don't participate. Don't be part of it. And my theory is people who have a problem with the porn industry are usually sexually frustrated themselves and are taking their anger out on people who allow themselves to express their sexuality, or it's because of some bullshit religious trauma, which I already kind of went over. Because of a book, let's get this clear. Because of a book that was written thousands of years ago and has also been changed thousands of times with different translations because the original translation is so different than what it would be nowadays. So who the fuck even knows what the Bible says? Maybe the Bible said sex work is great and then there was just some translation that got lost. Who knows, honestly? So let's talk about some of the reasons my dad and I don't get along. aside from him searching my nudes, of course, because that was just crossing a boundary that I don't think we can get past. But my dad has done many things. He's been rude to service staff. He has made you look like a whore comments to me, I think since I was in middle school, high school. I don't know, whenever I started wearing the cheeky underwear and like the short shorts. He has always been very disconnected to any feelings around the house that isn't anger. Like he's only connected to anger. Like that is the only emotion that he knows how to feel and that he knows how to like express to people, which growing up in a household where the only emotion your dad really shows is either anger or basically just anger, you don't know what you're gonna get next. Because I'm like, oh, if I even trip in front of my dad, am I gonna be yelled at today? Like that's literally how I felt growing up. You know, it doesn't help that he's super religious and wants me to live my life like a saint. And I have never been a saint. The times I have been forced to hang out with my dad haven't turned out great. I had to sit there. Oh, this story. I'll never get over this story. So my dad is a millionaire. You know, he is a financial advisor, top whatever, Forbes magazine, top financial advisors in the country. You know, he has made millions. And my dad sat there at a restaurant yelling at a waitress because she wouldn't accept his expired coupon that was expired for like at least a few weeks, maybe a month. And he was yelling at her, asking her to get a manager. And this poor girl, like, it looked like she had tears like in her, like, you know, in like the corners of her eyes. And can you imagine making millions of dollars yelling at a waitress who makes minimum wage to be like, I did not say $4 on this pizza? Wow. Like, I'm sorry. I literally had to wait till he went to the bathroom to be like, I am so sorry. We all hate my dad too. So join the club. But like that poor woman. And like, I don't know. Are you not embarrassed to act that way to someone who literally makes like minimum wage? You should be embarrassed to act that way. That's so fucking embarrassing. I have also had my dad scream at me for giving my chia seed drink to a homeless person. So we were like driving in the car. We just like went grocery shopping, whatever. I had a chia seed drink. There was a homeless person who looked very kind with a sign, just saying anything helps. So I gave them my chia seed drink. And after I rolled the window back up, my dad started yelling at me, being like, you shouldn't have given that to that homeless person. That homeless person is homeless because of choices they made. Just spouting all this bullshit. Like he didn't grow up in Bel Air, go to nice colleges, have his parents' connections to get him to where he is. Like it is just so both arrogant and ignorant to say that homeless people choose to be there because of choices that they made. Like not everyone has the same privileges and resources that like me and him have had. I am self-aware enough to know that I woke up very privileged. And, you know, if I grew up in a lower income home, I probably wouldn't be where I was today. And for that, I'm very thankful. And I always like to give back. But like, you have to at least acknowledge that you came from privilege and not yell at me and homeless people. So I also sat there from about birth to middle school while my father has made tons of fat comments towards my mom. Not just my mom, but he would fat shame like people on the street and always be making comments about people's weight, looks, etc. And I mean, my mom said it never bothered her, but it bothered me. It bothered me to the point that like I would look at myself as a little sixth grader and be like, wow, I am fat. No one in school called me fat. It was coming from my family. And I finally told him he had to stop when I developed an eating disorder in sixth grade. Like, I don't even know how I knew throwing up was like the thing to do, but I was like throwing up starting from sixth grade. But like, why would shaming your wife, like fat shaming your wife who's had 2 kids, ever cross your mind, especially someone that you're supposed to have like a loving, healthy relationship with? And like, here's the thing. Fat is like no longer a bad word. Drew Afuelo, I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but Drew Afuelo says, when people call me fat, I do not care because fat is not a bad word and society has only made it a bad word. I am all on board for that. I do know, however, my dad was trying to say it as an insult or in a derogatory way So that is the difference. He was using it to be mean and to be a little bully. When, sir, I see your receding hairline too, okay? In the words of Drew, I'm not as funny as her, but I can always try. I also felt like growing up, he always sexualized women in front of me from a very young age. He would talk about like going to Vegas and hanging out with strippers, and would talk about like girls' boobs, girls' waist sizes, etc. And then make comments about how like all of these girls were so into him. When like, first of all, they're into your money, sir. Like, you drive a nice car, they're into your money, they're not into you. But he would also make comments about like, I don't know, he would say like when he was in high school, he would have his girlfriends do everything for him. Like, they would cook for him, they would clean for him, and he just sat back and watched them do stuff and basically bossed them around. It sounded like a girlfriend slave that he was going after, just someone who was like mindless doing everything for him. And I mean, I just think that really impacted the way I looked at myself growing up. Just feeling like, I don't know, it's hard having your dad not look at women anything more than like sexual weird objects. But beyond the awful things that like my dad has said to me, I can't have a relationship with someone who says things like this and acts like this. Like, he doesn't really have empathy for other people. And my dad is a hardcore Republican who doesn't have a lot of empathy for other people or other people's situations. So, it's kind of embarrassing, and it's not really my responsibility to have a relationship with someone to try to make them change if they don't even see the issues within themselves. But the reason I'm kind of like saying all of these things is because I think a lot of people assume that the reason I do OnlyFans is because of my issues with my dad. And I think I was always born to be a little bit promiscuous. I just think that my dad is responsible for the awful relationships I've had with men. So my father, he was a little absent growing up. He was either absent or angry, and those were like the two things that I kind of got from him. And the men that I have historically gone for are men who are so indifferent of me that I would be head over heels in love with them. Like, I sent a man a pocket pussy because I thought he was like distancing himself a little bit. I sent him a pocket pussy to be like, oh, this will rekindle things. No, he wasn't into me anymore. And I couldn't get that through my pea brain. And this has just been a pattern throughout my years. I have always gone for men who are so indifferent about me that like, they don't care if I hate them, like them, like they just hit me up when they're horny. So we're changing those patterns. Yes, we are. But what my life coach said is, with these relationships, I was trying to recreate the relationship I had with my dad, but have different outcomes. So in my head, I was choosing guys so different from my dad. I was like, I'm not getting guys who golf. I'm not getting guys who are into financial advising. I was trying so hard to find guys who were different than him, but ultimately had the same emotional connection with me that my dad did. So now we're changing those relationship patterns. But back to being a little promiscuous at a young age, because I don't want people to think that, I mean, it can be true in some cases, but me becoming a sex worker had nothing to do with my daddy issues. I just really think that I was like born to be a little bit promiscuous. When I was like a kid, I always wore like the teeny tiny gymnastics outfits, like what is it? Like Bring It On. Like, I would wear those kind of 2-piece mini things as like a 4 or 5-year-old. And I remember my gymnastics teacher would be like, oh, you just like to show your stomach, don't you? Or, oh, that's a tiny outfit. And now looking back, she was probably slut shaming me a little bit, but I thought that was the biggest compliment ever. I was like, oh my God, you think my bottoms are tiny? You think my shirt is tiny? Like, I thought she was complimenting me. I'm like, yes, girl. And like, my parents had the birds and the bees talk with me at a pretty young age. It was like before kindergarten. So after that, it was probably a mistake because I am really bad at keeping secrets. So I told all of my friends, and I kind of got back to my parents being like, why is your daughter telling kindergarteners how to have sex? But I don't know, it was just what I did. And then I had like all these little toy horses, and I would like make the toy horses fuck. So that was me at a young age, like just already being like, oh my God, this is so cool. And I would also have female Barbies like scissor each other. I didn't even know what scissoring was back then. I just thought it like looked cool, but I just feel like it shows like I was always interested in like the sexuality of things. And oh God. Oh yeah. I have this written down too, but in about third grade, I would stare at my vagina in the mirror and poke around to figure out like what the sensations were. You know, like if you're a kid, you kind of like lick things, random things to like figure out how to taste or like what the texture is. I feel like that's what I was trying to do with my vagina. I'm like, what is this little thing down here? Also at the ripe age of third grade, oh my God. I'm really admitting this out loud, but I started watching porn. This isn't the bad part. The curiosity started when I was a kid. I didn't really watch a lot of Disney. I didn't watch a lot of Nickelodeon. I watched Animal Planet and Discovery Channel. And what the Discovery Channel and the Animal Planet have in common is they show animals fucking. And they'd be like, this lion is mating with this lioness and they're going to have a tribe, like just stuff like that. And I'd be like, wow, so that's what sex looks like. So then I would get like really curious and look up just sex. And I found this website before even Pornhub. It was like livesex.com or something like that. And then I'd be like, oh my God, this is like people fucking, like this is so cool. As like a third grader, that is crazy. And just to kind of show my innocence at the same time, I thought all of these girls' vaginas had mutated to not have hair. And I had this like huge fucking bush where I couldn't even wear a bathing suit. And I'm like, how do I get my vagina to look like that? I didn't even know what a razor was yet. But and then I found out like through the church, just kind of overhearing that like porn is like wrong. It is a sin. So then I switched over to like anime porn because I'm like, oh, it's not like real people fucking. That's not a sin. But yeah, being a stupid little third grader, I opened up all of the pop-ups until my parents' computer crashed. Like they couldn't even start it at that point with all the viruses, which I think was pretty lucky because since it crashed completely and they couldn't get the computer to run again, they couldn't see that it was the porn I was watching that crashed it. So the universe really had my back on that one. My parents were like having me go to church, I think like 4 days a week. I was part of this church club called like Awana or something like that, where I had to memorize Bible verses. And I like basically went on tour, kind of like spelling bees, to say Bible verses. So they'd be like, what is like Corinthians like 1:14 or something, and I'd have to like memorize it and say it in front of everybody. Can you imagine this little church girl getting caught by her parents for watching porn at like such a young age? That would have been awful. What's really funny is a lot of these people who are like part of the church groups and stuff like that, they're the ones who found my OnlyFans and sent it to my father. So who like, they went up to him at church is what he said. He wouldn't tell me who it was to tell him that I had an OnlyFans, but they still found my OnlyFans, had to send him a screenshot of the page. So who's really sinning? Did Jesus not say to not judge? You are judging by showing my dad my OnlyFans, fuckers. Anyways. By middle school, I was idolizing the girls next door. God, I loved them. You know, they'd blur out their tits but show like their photo shoots and stuff like that, their nude photo shoots. And I would watch the Kardashians, and I would literally like pose in my swimsuits in front of the mirror to try to look like the girls next door, the Kardashians, and try to like recreate their shoots. I mean, I didn't have a camera to take the pictures. I mean, I had my phone, but like, you know, it was just for the mirror because my mom would go through my phone, so I couldn't have any of that on there. And wow. I even started stealing thongs and like thong bathing suits from like Victoria's Secret and Tilly's. And, you know, the statute of limitations is over because this is like well over 15 years ago. So I can't get in trouble. Or was it 15 years ago? Or like, it was like 12 years ago, something like that. So I can't get in trouble. But I was like, my mom wouldn't let me buy anything that didn't look like a granny panty diaper kind of situation. So I just had to steal them. Oh my God, my thought process as a kid, so that I could like feel hot and like sexy wearing all this kind of stuff. And then I kind of got in this habit of mooning people. I'd wear dresses and just like moon people after I got the thongs, just thinking it was like so cute and silly and quirky. I never flashed people because I wore the bombshell bra. So people, if I flashed them, they would know that my boobs were in fact a pancake. So never did that, but the mooning was a big thing for me. And wow, I was like such a little devout Christian girl, but then doing all of this like crazy shit. I even had an album with like my best friends where we were doing like, oh my God, we posted it on public Facebook, like, well, not private album, it was public, where I was doing like the eating out sign, like, or like the sucking dick thing as a devout Christian 7th or 8th grader. Granted, I don't think I knew what any of them meant, but I knew it was sexual and I thought it was really funny. And I named the album Lady Balls, and we all got in so much trouble. My mom was like, Adelia, like, why are you making these like hand signs? And I'm like, I literally don't know what they mean. But I don't know. Fun times. Just kind of fast forwarding, but I was like the first to lose my virginity out of my friends. I was like 14, and I love sucking dick. I think I like sucking dick more then than I do now, because back then it was just like, oh my God, they give me so much attention when I suck their dick. This is great. Now I'm not, if I want attention, I can post a thirst trap online. But back then it was like, this is the only way I'm getting attention. So I sucked mad dick back then. And back then, it is very different than now, because everyone would always say that I was like great at sucking dick, but I think they only said that because like no one else was sucking their dick, because I didn't have very high standards. So happens. I was also because I like idolize the Kardashians and the girls next door, and then by high school Jersey Shore had come out and I was obsessed with Jersey Shore. I was taking like butt photos for Instagram at 15, and I would always get in trouble with my parents because they didn't want her daughter exposing herself that way, which is really funny because like in high school I also would send tit pics to a lot of people, to guys I didn't even like. It was just like if I knew someone would give me a compliment, I'd send them a tit pic, and I did that to probably a dozen guys, I don't know. And then one of them ended up kissing me at a party, which I was mortified at, because I'm like, oh my God, like why did you think I was down? He's like, I don't know, maybe because you send me your tit pics every day. And I'm like, oh God. It was only then that I realized I was like sending him the wrong message, because before then I was like, no, I was sending you those for the compliments, not because I wanted you. And it was mortifying because everyone took pictures of like him kissing me, and then I had to hide in the bathroom for the rest of the party because I'm like, I was not actually down. But yeah, I can see. I need a burp. I can definitely see where I was giving him the wrong signals now. But let's just like fast forward a little bit. As soon as I turned 18, I went to Hard Summer. It was my first rave ever. And I wore the teeny tiny pasties, like nothing over it, just the teeny tiny pasties. Like this kind of stuff just always felt so empowering and liberating to me. And my first rave, my most iconic pic ever that I can't even have on Instagram anymore because of the pasties, but I was rolling tits on someone's shoulders, just looking like a fucking menace. Oh, that is my favorite picture ever. I wish I could like post it places, but all social media is getting so strict and censored when like, do you really not think like, okay, so for TikTok, for example, you have to be 13 to make your TikTok account? When I was 13, I was watching fucking Jersey Shore and the girls next door. Like, what is it about these 13-year-olds that needs to be so protected and so censored all of a sudden? They're not children. I mean, they are under the age of 18, but it's like when they turn 14, 15, 16, you really don't think they're partying in high school? Like at my high school, people started like doing coke and like rolling. Like I started rolling when I was 15. Like we don't need to protect our children the way that we used to. Or no, we never did. No, we don't need to protect them now or then. Anyway, sorry, just went on a little rant. But my freshman year, I also said this on Glennie Ball's podcast, but I was fucking a lot of men. It was my goal to have a roster under my belt by the time I graduated my freshman year. Because like a man, I looked at my roster as like, oh my God, I'm so proud of that. This many men wanted to fuck me because I grew up kind of ugly. So I was like, this many men want to fuck me. Like that was so exciting. And by my senior year, I had multiple sex toys, and I had already fooled around with a girl who was a stripper. And maybe I should text her because she lives in LA too. But just to get to my point, I do not think that my dad made me this way. I genuinely think when you're like this, you're born with a different mindset that no amount of Christianity or rules can take out of you. I wasn't showing off my tits and ass with a thought of like, oh my God, this is going to make my dad so angry. Like, it was actually the exact opposite of that, where when I was posting my tits and ass pics, I was like, oh my God, I hope he never finds this. I would have been mortified for him to find it. But like, it wasn't like I was doing anything in spite of him. I just really think that I was born with like a different mindset that was more open to sexuality than other people were. And here's the thing. I never wanted to piss my dad off, but I just finally decided that being authentic to who I am was more important than continuing to dull my shine for him. Because I think most of my life I was dulling my shine for him, in fear of like making him angry. Like, I even had a stupid fucking corporate job. Like, my first corporate job, I was making like $32K a year, working like sometimes like 10, 11-hour days, awful cold calling people with awful, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Awful commission. My second job, my boss would scream at us all day, and like, I was scared to even go in the office, and I was doing that shit to make him happy, because I think I always knew I wanted to do social media. That's why I like to post my tits and ass online. I was like, oh my God, this is so fun. And they would see girls like Alexis Wren being so successful at it. But anyways, we're not dulling our shine for our parents anymore. And say what you want, thinking my dad was right for everything he put me through growing up. I mean, there's more, but you know, I don't want to like just focus on that. I really am happy that I finally had the balls to block him after he sent me screenshots of my own nudes, and he has remained blocked for over a year now. And my relationship with myself since blocking him has improved tremendously, since I can no longer receive like paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of my dad trying to like shame me. And, you know, I am a lot happier, and, you know, I am kind of ashamed of the family, but oh well. Because I think he thinks... because I think he's ashamed to the... Sorry. Okay, Zachary. Restart. Here's the thing. I know that I'm ashamed of the family, but I think he's ashamed of the family for being such a hateful person. And, I mean, in all seriousness, I really do hope that my dad can change for the better. I hope something can, like, grab his attention to want to change for the better. And I know, like, a lot of this podcast was spent shitting on him and shitting on our relationship a little bit. A little bit. I mean, a lot. But I mean, here's the thing. I just want everyone to like know where I come from and know why I am the way I am. But I mean, he's the way he is because of his family's trauma. And we don't really choose what parents we're born with or choose what trauma we have to carry. It's just going to be everyone's decision if they want to grow and deal with their shit. Anyways, so now that that little serious part is over, I'm going to have my assistant Kat come on and grill me with some offensive questions. So everyone, round of applause. We can't even hear the applause. Round of applause for Katherine. All right. Hello, everyone. This is my assistant, Kat, or Katherine. I thought that since in my future episodes with guests, I kind of roast them on stuff that's offensive. Now it's time for me to get roasted because I love this shit. So who better than my assistant who we've seen each other poop, pee,
naked.
Yeah. So
HR doesn't exist for us.
No, if HR did exist, I could probably be sued for so much money, but it's not sexual harassment if it goes both ways.
True. I don't know if everyone's gonna like that, but true. Okay, so I have some offensive and just general questions for you.
Cool.
So first and foremost, do you find trolling offensive?
Okay, I know that you're asking this because...
And have you ever trolled anyone?
Yes, because I have trolled Tristan Thompson the first time he cheated on Khloe Kardashian. I commented so many times on his Instagram post, like his latest Instagram post being like, I can't believe you did this to her. Like, I was like definitely bullying him. I think the only time that bullying is justified is when it's something like that. Like Levine? He cheated on
Adam Levine. Yeah,
Adam Levine.
Adam DeLevine.
The one who cheated on his Victoria's Secret wife. Like, I find that people trolling him golden.
They deserve it.
But I feel like if you're trolling people to be like, you're ugly or you're
like the people trolling my small tits.
Yeah, like that just seems so unnecessary. But I personally don't even find trolls very offensive anymore, at least for me. I know other people do, because in my head, I'm like, thank you. You're boosting my engagement. Thank you for hating me so much.
I'm like, views, baby.
Views, baby. Maybe I should no. This is a better mindset than taking things to heart.
Yeah, no, way better mindset than
And
to take things
even
to
Leonardo DiCaprio, if he can laugh at people trolling him for he goes for women solely under the age of 25.
He trolls the paparazzi and he'll follow them like he's paparazzi.
Yeah, so I think like trolling someone like that when like he obviously thinks the joke is funny, like I think it's chilling.
All right, trolling, not offensive to a certain extent.
Yes.
Okay, do you think it's offensive to leave your sex toys out when you have guests coming over?
No, I don't, because I do, and everyone makes comments about it.
How many of your friends have seen your sex toys?
A lot. Oh my God. Probably anyone who's been over has probably seen, because I leave my big vibrators out charging all the time.
One time I went over and there was a massive dildo suction to the counter.
There you go.
And I just...
But then you know I'm chill like that.
Yeah.
Then you know I'm chill like that.
You just got a good thing going.
I'm trying to think. Has anyone been angry? No, I don't think so. I do remember at my friend's bachelorette party, though, I had like a dildo and vibrators in my backpack. And then I was just kind of like pulling them out. And none of the girls at the table had sex toys or used their vibrators, etc. So I was over here trying to like be like, hey girls, it's time to get some pussy pleasure. Let's get some vibrators. And they were uncomfortable. So, you know, just got to know my audience.
It's
but if you're
they're
my
from
friend,
Arizona.
Yeah, if you're my friend, you know that I'm like this.
We love sex toys over here. How did you inform the guy who gave you chlamydia that you both had chlamydia?
I texted him saying, yo, you gave me chlamydia. And then it's actually funny. I was like walking back from one of my classes and I literally saw him walking into campus health because my dorm was like right by there. So I hid behind a bush until I felt like
him going to get tested.
Yeah. So I hid behind a bush until like he walked further up. And then he texted me like a few days later being like, he was not happy. He's like, yo, bitch, I came back negative, so you could have given me chlamydia. And so I texted the wrong guy. So the guy who did give it to me was someone who lied about just testing negative. So I blamed the wrong person, and then the guy who gave it to me still denies it to this day. But now I have like 4 other friends that he also gave chlamydia to. So Kappa Sig, baby. It's the frat of chlamydia.
That poor guy that walked into the health thinking he gave you chlamydia.
He was so angry with me.
Only to realize he didn't even have chlamydia.
You know,
and could have put himself at risk.
You know what he texted me?
God,
he was like, you were the one that pushed to not use a condom. And I'm like, I'm allergic.
I'm allergic.
And he wanted to use a condom so bad. Yeah, he hated me after that. It's chill. He's not chill like that.
Okay, what's your best and worst shrooming experience?
Best shroom experience? God, I have had so many.
But like top, like if you were to tell someone that they should try shrooming because you had the best experience ever, which one was it?
Probably I took like 14 grams of mushrooms. It's either 12 or 14. It was an even number.
Worst experience.
Yeah, and I met Sudden Death, Danny, what's good? And I was just peeking the whole time and I was so happy and I was jumping around everywhere and like that was like one of my top shrooming experiences. I'd say my worst shrooming experience, but it turned into a good shrooming experience. It never stays bad. But I mean,
if you can take 14 grams and that be your best experience, I don't think it's possible to have a worse shrooming experience. What the fuck? I would be like off like 2 grams. 2 grams I hit my cap.
Puke and rally. But this time I couldn't puke. The worst one I did like I think 2 grams at once on an empty stomach. And that was my mistake because usually if I take 2 grams, I need something to puke and I had nothing to puke. So I was tripping so hard and I was trying to force myself to eat so then I could puke and everything just tasted like cardboard at that point. So it took about 2 hours to be okay. And then little old me, ended up staying out till 4 a.m. And it was like a great experience after I ate enough food to then puke. And then like I met a guy who ended up talking to. He was the one who called me darling. But the first time I met him, we were just dancing and vibing.
No wonder you liked him so much the first time you met him.
Yeah.
And then he called you darling.
Like, why would you do that? He actually, our one friend, saw him at a rave recently at a house show. And he's like, so, hi, are we like all cool? Like, does Adelia hate me? And she's like, no, we're all cool. I haven't heard her like talk poorly about you. He's like, okay, just wanted to make sure. But no, it's just like the darling made me feel like I was going to puke.
Man, please don't call us darling.
No.
Like, it's just weird.
No girl is going to be like, oh my God, he called me darling. My pussy's dripping.
Yeah, no.
No.
I mean, yeah, no.
No.
No. I don't even know if there would be like a kink for that. Like a
I don't think
good
so.
girl kink? No.
No,
because good girl, not darling.
Good girl. Yeah, suck that dick.
Yeah, but good girl, darling. Like, suck it, darling.
Yeah, darling, suck my cock.
Write it right, darling. Okay. Are community guidelines offensive?
Yes. Fuck you, Instagram and TikTok. The fuck. Because I got famous on Instagram. Oh my God, I just called myself famous. I'm not famous. I blew up on Instagram because of my pasty pics, because I like to wear pasties to raves and spice up the pasties. I can't even do those anymore. So there's just a whole festival fit that's fucking gone. TikTok, you're very selective about who can post what, and that's also very fucking annoying. Yeah. And like they just like to shadow ban you for no fucking reason. Same with Instagram. They took down a post for me bullying someone. It was like, no, it said hate speech. And it was a meme that I just reposted that's viral on Facebook to my close friend story on Instagram. And they took it down for hate speech. But it was
on their on Facebook, which is owned by Meta. So
yeah,
it makes
which is
no sense.
No sense. And it's viral on Facebook. So I'm so over it. I have to dress like a fucking nun now on Instagram, which I guess is just more of a reason
to subscribe
to my OnlyFans, man.
I mean, I can't even smoke weed on it anymore.
Yeah.
I still am going to.
Yeah, she might get deleted, but we'll see what happens. I'm not paying to get your Instagram back.
I won't pay for it either. I'll make a new one. Let me see. And lastly, do the carpet match? Does the carpet match the drapes?
I'm assuming you mean, okay, so my hair is usually curly, but today it's not curly. Today I'm actually wearing a hat because my hair is oily and I haven't washed it in a week, but I think that
us curly girls that straighten, you know how it is.
Yeah.
You're trying to make that straight go forever.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it last as long as possible because once the curls come back, like it is a depressing time. But anyways, before I got laser, yes, my bush was bushin'. It was curly? It was a curly, yeah. It was the curliest little bush I have ever seen.
Interesting. Mine is not.
Yeah, mine was like ingrown hairs like crazy. So that's why my mom in 8th grade started paying for me to get laser hair removal down there because of how like bushin' the bush was.
Well, you grew a bush in 3rd grade, so.
Yeah, my bush started in 3rd grade. So that was not like, you know how embarrassing that was? I had to get my mom to write a note because even in 6th grade, I didn't know that people shaved their vagina still. I don't know how.
I don't think I knew in 6th grade.
Yeah, so I had to get a note from my mom to say I was like allergic to chlorine, so I couldn't do the swim classes that everyone else did because my bush in my one piece was down to like, it was down pretty fucking far. And then I remember girls would be like, I went to like swim class 2 times. And then some girls were like, Adelia, like you have to tuck your bush. No one else had the same issue that I did. So then I was like, I missed school the next day and I'm like, Mom, we need a doctor's note. So my mom had to text her friend who was a doctor, got me out of PE class that whole time.
You're like, I can't do this.
I can't, like, people already thought I was masturbating with carrots, let alone having people talking about my massive bush.
You were the weirdo, the weird horse girl that masturbated with carrots. She didn't need to add any more.
No.
Oh, man. The life of being a woman.
Yeah. Girls can be mean, but so can men. All right, I have one offensive question for you because I feel like I can't ask just random girls. So with your acrylic nails, what is the process of wiping your asshole?
Well, I just did these myself this morning.
Okay.
I'm very proud of myself. They look kind of raggedy. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. You just kind of, so with the really long nails, I don't think I would be able to function.
Yeah.
I just kind of like wrap the toilet paper around the top
Okay.
and then just like wipe. But I
Okay.
wipe like normal.
Do you ever like cut yourself on accident with the nails?
No.
Okay. Interesting.
No, because I like wipe. I'm not like scraping my
Oh
asshole.
my God. Even I've cut my asshole before and
Yeah, no. And then
Okay.
like baby wipes.
yeah.
I
I'm
don't-
just,
Yeah, my poops are good.
Yeah.
So we just kind of wipe it.
I mean, to be fair, everyone, Kat is like, Adelia, like, how is your kitchen such a mess? And I'm like, I made soup, thinking that was self-explanatory. And she's like, okay, but how did it get everywhere? And I'm like, because it spills from my mouth. What do you mean? So I guess that's not something that everyone deals with, but
Yeah. Her kitchen is always messy.
yeah, because if I'm cooking myself, it's
Yeah.
messy, which I'm trying to do to save money. But if I eat out, it's like way better. Anyways, so thank you all for coming. If you want to submit any questions, topics, etc., you can go to that'soffensive.co and there's like become a guest, topics, etc. And to find all of my socials, that's on itsdeelz.com, itsdeelz.com, and you can plug yourself now.
Oh, so my Instagram is Katherine with 5 T's and 3 E's. And then my TikTok is catbong.net because catbong.com
Got banned.
was banned. And now I'll probably make a backup of like catbong.org. I'm just going to keep going with the dots.
Yeah. Why isn't that your Instagram anymore? It used to be, right?
Catbong. Yeah, and then I don't think I ever went back.
Okay.
So yeah,
Katherine.
5 T's, 3 E's.
Hey. Thanks everyone for coming.
Thanks.